Welcome back to the Earth Dwellers channel. I am your host, Rustin Floto. Formally introduced myself there. Today we are going to do a bunch of cool stuff. So this is a very simple brick we're going to make today, and this was out of necessity. We found that we needed some building supplies. We needed some heavy duty bricks that we can kind of put together like cob or our own DIY mortar. So we've got several varieties that we're making. One is a little bit more advanced than the other, and we're going to keep that as a separate video. So we're going to not get them mixed up, and we're going to do a simple mud brick today or a clay brick. So if this sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing to the channel, because that's pretty much all we do here. I got my son over here. He's mashing up a bunch of biochar.
This is what I've been doing. Just take some charcoal, dump it in there, grab this, and then crush it up.
So as you saw on the thumbnail, we have our own clay, and this is fire hardened clay, just kind of purified a little bit. We've got some of our clay soil, we've got sand, we've got ash, and we've got some finished bricks that we had made, and these are pretty darn solid. So just real quick, I'll be talking about the density and the size of your material. And this is very important because you can see that I have a few bubble holes, but those might have been when I pulled this brick in half before it fully dried. But there is really good material packing and flocculating together and really filling those gaps. So the only ingredients we are using are stuff you can either acquire for dirt cheap or free. So the sand is really the only thing you might have to acquire if you don't have any. So we got a couple buckets for free from our local gravel pit because we needed some, and they said we could have it for free. So it's worth a try just checking to see if you bring a 5-gallon bucket, they might fill it up for you. No guarantees on that, but the next thing we are going to use is water. So we've got air, water, ash, sand, and we've got our clay. So before I get started, you can grind up a bunch of fibers. You can use hemp, you can use straw, grass, sunflower stalks, any fiber you want. You just grind them up real fine and add them into this mix, and you really only need about 5% fiber in there, and it really strengthens it up. We've done a few tests with this, and we're going to make a simple brick today that will hold up. I mean, you're not going to be able to drop it off the roof of your house without it breaking, but it's going to hold your body weight, and you're going to be able to build with it if you need to. So hopefully you can see our little spread here. So we've got a grinding plate, we've got our working area. This is where we are actually making our bricks, and then we've got all of our sifting going on over here where we have our clay being sifted. I can see my breath a little bit. It's getting chilly in here, and we've been opening the door a few times here, so coming in and out definitely lets a lot of that heat out. So my son started a fire up back there, so hopefully we can get some good heat off of that and crank the heat up, because there's been not much solar activity today. So all those solar systems have been pretty much pulsing all day, our geothermal, our compost heating, whatever passive heating we got. So we came in here at like 4:30 and it's almost dark, and we're sitting about 50 degrees. So before we make this brick, we are going to use half clay, we're going to use a quarter sand as an aggregate, and then we're going to use as a binder our wood ash. So that wood ash is going to provide about a quarter, and it's also going to be a filler. When I stated that these bricks are flocculating together good, it means that they're packing together and they're becoming unusable soil, and they're being packed and turning into like a clay brick. Using that wood ash to fill those gaps, and all of the lime in the wood ash, the little bit of lime, is going to act as a binder. So it's going to solidify this and turn it into a halfway decent concrete brick. It's not 100% concrete. That is for a later video where we're going to process our ash and make clinker and stuff. So this is just a simple brick here, and we're going to use our mold today. We've made maybe half a dozen bricks already as tests with different amounts and different ratios, and we found that about half clay, a quarter sand, and a quarter ash with water, air mixed in. And we made one with fiber, and it seemed to hold up pretty well, but I'm not going to be using them to bend and break. I'm going to be using them to lay flat and stack them up and build and make a wall with them, a nice cob or mud wall. We're just gonna make a bowl out of all of our finely sifted clay soil, try and get any little rocks or debris out of there. So this little basin is where we are starting here. So that was our quick release brick mold, and I'll just wash this off or let it dry and it just falls off. But I like to wash this off, and it seems to work very, very well. I mean, I'm not using a whole lot of material. I'm making thin bricks. If I made up a huge glob, I could smack it all in there, and I ended up making a tool just to cut it. Got a T-piece with some wire, and I drilled a hole, just wrap the wire so I can rake that right across the top and basically make a flat brick on top. And we're looking at making stamps and stuff. We've just been labeling them number 1, 2, and 3. And that's been just to test all of the different sediment mixtures, basically all of the aggregates and how much ash, how much binder we need, the lime and the ash, and all of the things going together. So we've been making some real concrete, and we are going to bring that video next. I just wanted to share this first because these are pretty darn valuable when we go to build a rocket stove. These will be the building blocks. Like, this is just gonna lay, you can put another one on top, and you can make some of the same material, some of this mortar basically that we're making, the DIY brickcrete, and you can use it like mortar and fill this in and then just make like a cob wall. So very good thermal mass here too. We got a lot of sand, a lot of clay. It's better than concrete. This is a pretty darn easy solution to getting your own bricks. And like I said, we're gonna make some real concrete, which is not going to be water soluble. Eventually this will break down in water, but it's going to take a lot of water. You can see like adobes and the cob structures, it doesn't break down. All of this is pretty darn solid, and it's pretty hard to make a scratch in it or a dent. My son was hitting the other one with a hammer. We broke the one in half, and we were hitting it with a hammer, just seeing how much damage it could take. And these things are pretty darn strong. I've stood on this one. I actually put two side by side and I stood on them, but now I don't have two dry ones together to do that for everybody. I'll do that in the next video when we make the concrete itself. So before this video gets too long, we'll go check out all of the bricks we've made in the greenhouse here, and then I will let everybody go. So this is the brick we made 3 days ago. It's still not even 100% dry, I don't think. We didn't use any fire to dry them because they do not need to be fire dried, but they can be. The concrete is just a cold dry. You can see this brick right here. Basically the same thing. It's got a little bit of a ridge here, but that's just from packing it into the mold because we didn't fill the mold completely up. We've got a ton of these molds, so would anybody buy these if we started developing like brand new ones? These are all recycled materials here that we made, but if I made some brand new ones, I'm thinking about selling the DIY quick bricks here. Let's come over and check on this one here. This is a number 2 brick, and it had been sitting, and we're doing a warm dry on this just to see what it does. Very, very interesting. It's nice and solid. This has been about a day ago, so this is 1 day old. It just sat in the greenhouse. Pretty high moisture in here, so I'm using the stove to kind of dry them out a little bit. Not baking them, just giving them maybe 80, 90 degrees. Coming all the way down to the other end, we've got another 2 brick here, and you can see all the moisture soaking out. And basically we come by with a flat dusted shovel. We'll take some soil and dust our shovel, and then we'll just scoop it, and then we dropped it right here. So very, very interesting, all these little bricks we're making, because we're going to experiment with the solar capacity or the thermal capacity of all these bricks. So this has been a very interesting little DIY, and we're not even all the way through it. We've got lots to do still as far as making real concrete, but this is a darn good source of building materials. Like, it's all free. Literally excavating our pond and using the excavation as brick making material. So 100% recycled here, trying to do as best as we can with as little as we can, just like my son, saving the biochar out of our fire outside. And we're just trying to find ways to recycle all of the wood ash, and why not make concrete with it if you can? Kind of a no-brainer to make some free concrete. So I hope everybody found this useful. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I will get back to everybody. I really appreciate everybody watching, all the new subscribers lately. Thank you guys for checking out this video, and I will see you guys next time.